I call the Honourable Judith Collins.
Oh, thank you, Mr Chair. What an excellent choice, might I say. Look, I'd like to follow on from that excellent contribution from Alistair Scott, MP. And I think one of the reasons that I'd like to continue with that...
Order.
Thank
you. No, I haven't said anything yet. How can you apologise? And he will be apologising. Don't bring me into the debate.
The Honourable Judith.
Thank you, Mr.
Point of order.
Is he going to stand, withdraw and apologise or not?
I didn't ask him for.
Mr.
Honourable
Chair.
Judith Collins.
So we're getting lots of knee exercise. Well, Mr. Chair, I think one of the things that I would like to speak about tonight is the fact that this bill is even being discussed in Parliament. And the National Party, we oppose this bill because I think we should always work on the basis of if something is not broken, then why would we try to fix it? So tonight we've been hearing from the government about the need for us to fix the Reserve Bank monetary policy bill. And the reason for doing this, they say, is for things like unemployment. Well, unemployment is at historically low numbers, and that is thanks to an excellent amount of work that was undertaken in the 9 years of a national-led government, and the fact that this government has now inherited that. So one would have to ask oneself, why is this such an important issue for the government? Why would they want to now get the Reserve Bank to take into account unemployment when they're setting interest rates and everything else that they do? What is it? Well, the answer would have to be because that's what New Zealand First wanted. It has nothing to do with fixing unemployment or the Reserve Bank acting in a way to help unemployment or to decrease unemployment, because it's already at historically low levels. So what's the point? And when I think about this bill, and particularly Part 1, I think about the fact that this is a meddling bill. It is a bill put together for a constituency that has been fooled into thinking that there's something dreadfully wrong with this Reserve Bank. Some of us on this side of the House will well remember a certain member of a candidate for a certain political party saying that the Reserve Bank was owned by foreigners. Well, some of you might remember that one. Some of you might remember that. I think it may have been a candidate from New Zealand First. Anyway, saying that this was a bank owned by foreigners, and I well remember that this bank, New Zealand First, and the new government, they said, was going to buy it back. Well, to that person I'd say, would you like a bridge I could sell you? Because they are truly, truly ridiculous to think that. And the Reserve Bank of New Zealand Monetary Policy Amendments Bill, that would be a singular, not a plural. Mr. whatever your name is over there. I think it is really very important to remember that this House and the very valuable time that the taxpayers are paying for should be used for bills and discussions that make a difference. This bill is going to make not one scrap of difference other than to enable the Treasury and the Minister of Finance to be able to interfere into the very careful deliberations of the Reserve Bank of New Zealand. And when we think back to the times before we had things like a national government in the 1990s, when in fact interest rates were around 18% or 28% if one was borrowing for a business, those are the days when actually, if only the Reserve Bank had been allowed to get on with their job, they might have been down to the rates that they are now. But instead, there was a lot of political interference in the Reserve Bank. And what I'm concerned about, and on this side of the House we are, as to the level of political interference that may well come to the Reserve Bank now. They are always people who are trying to do their best. They are the experts. I wonder at the level of political interference that's going to be met out to the Reserve Bank, and to have the Reserve Bank not able to make the decisions that it needs to make without having to wonder, is the Minister of Finance going to be happy? Actually, that shouldn't be their role.
Mr Chair.
The Honourable Grant.
Mr Chair, it's a pleasure to take a call in this debate and respond